Thanks to her introduction of the little black dress, trademark suits, and Chanel No. 5 perfume, Coco Chanel's impact on fashion has been hailed as a transformative shift in the style choices of 20th century women. Her name has been synonymous with unparalleled fashion sensibilities, revolutionizing the way women dress. However, in recent times, declassified French government documents have brought to light her undisclosed involvement in Nazi military intelligence during World War II. So where does the story of Coco Chanel, or Gabrielle Chanel, begin? Coco Chanel's early years were marked by hardship. Born in 1883, she grew up in modest surroundings in Saumur, western France. Her parents, Eugene and Albert, were not married when she was born. Eugene, only 20 at the time, gave birth to Coco in a charity hospital, while Albert was absent from this momentous occasion. Her childhood was arduous, defined by financial struggles as the family grappled with limited sources. Tragedy struck when her mother Eugene succumbed to bronchitis and asthma in 1894, having toiled tirelessly in challenging living conditions throughout her life. After her mother's passing, Coco and her sisters found themselves at an orphanage overseen by nuns. While her siblings were adopted, Coco remained at the orphanage until she reached 18, marking her departure after years of residence. Despite tumultuous beginnings, Chanel navigated through adversity, eventually leaving an indelible mark on the world of fashion. She emerged during World War I to revolutionize women's fashion, crafting visionary designs that left an enduring impact. Her creation of the iconic little black dress remains timeless, continuing its fashion reign long after its inception. Embracing simplicity and elegance in fashion, she famously quoted, "There is nothing more beautiful than emptiness," encapsulating her design philosophy. Beyond her public persona, Chanel's life was layered with complexity. Admired by many, she inadvertently set trends, like the tanned appearance she popularized upon returning from a vacation in the 1920s, influencing others to abandon pale skin tones, innovating not only in clothing but also in fragrances. She ventured into perfumes, launching her own line, a pioneering move in the fashion industry. Her swift ascent catapulted her into the echelons of Europe's most potent and influential personalities. Amid exchanging thoughts with renowned artists like Pablo Picasso, she forged friendships with notable figures such as Winston Churchill and Hugh Grosvenor, the second Duke of Westminster. Chanel's elevated celebrity status and extensive connections proved instrumental in reclaiming control over her life during a pivotal juncture in the late 1930s. This maneuver came as Adolf Hitler's advancing armies posed a threat to Germany's neighboring nations. Chanel dated a German military officer. Following the Nazi occupation of Paris of 1940, Coco Chanel formed a close association with Baron Hans Gunther von Dinklage, an Abwehr officer in Germany military intelligence. Their relationship afforded Chanel the privilege of residing in the luxurious quarters of Paris Hotel Ritz, utilized as a German headquarters, embedding her firmly within elite circles infiltrated by German officers. Her connection with Dinklage served multiple purposes, addressing crucial personal matters, notably the release of her nephew held captive in a German stalag in 1940. Additionally, her business interests came into play. Since 1924, when the Wertheimer family had provided support for her perfume line in exchange for a significant share of profits, Chanel had sought more advantageous terms. With the enforcement of Aryanization laws displacing Jewish business owners, Chanel seized the opportunity to reclaim a profitable segment of her empire. Chanel became Abwehr agent in 1941. Dinklage introduced his paramour to another influential Abwehr agent, Baron Louis de Waffenland, who purportedly offered Chanel assistance in securing her nephew's freedom in return for her cooperation with Berlin. Around 1941, Chanel was registered as Agent F7124, adopting the codename Westminster, a tribute to her past romantic involvement. Tasked with procuring political information from acquaintances in Madrid, Chanel embarked on a several-month-long trip to the Spanish city in mid-1941 alongside Waffenland, ostensibly engaged in business affairs. As chronicled in Hal Vaughn's book Sleeping with the Enemy, records detail her dinner meeting with British diplomat Brian Wallace, where she casually conversed about life in occupied Paris and the prevailing tensions between the French and Germans. The impact of Chanel's interactions in Madrid remains uncertain, yet they seemingly impressed Abwehr authorities enough to facilitate her nephew's release. However, her pursuit to regain control of her perfume profits hit a roadblock when she discovered that the Wertheimers had transferred company ownership to Felix Amiot, a non-Jewish Frenchman, before departing for the United States. She was outed as a German spy in 1944. Between late 1943 and early 1944, as Germany faced mounting adversity, Chanel received a new assignment from General Walter Schellenberg of the SS dubbed Operation Model Hut. This mission involved leveraging her personal connection to Churchill, then Prime Minister of England, to convey that numerous SS senior officers desired an end to the conflict. Chanel orchestrated the liberation of Vera Lombardi, a mutual acquaintance of hers, and Churchill's, from an Italian prison. Together with Dinklage, they journeyed to Madrid, where Lombardi was entrusted to deliver Chanel's message to Churchill at the British Embassy. However, this plan unraveled when Lombardi exposed Chanel and her companions as German spies. Although Lombardi was reapprehended, Chanel managed to safely return to Paris amid the fallout. Chanel escaped punishment and erased evidence of her actions that tied her to Abwehr. In August 1944, following the recapture of Paris by French forces, Chanel, labeled as a collaborator, faced interrogation by the Free French Purge Committee. Although detained briefly, she swiftly fled to Switzerland after her release. Post-war, Chanel appeared in a French court to address allegations linking her to the Abwehr. Evading serious repercussion, she acknowledged Van Verlen's commitment to securing her nephew's freedom while downplaying the extent of their interactions. As documented in Sleeping with the Enemy, Chanel took deliberate steps to expunge any evidence of her involvement were feasible. Subsequent to World War II, she maintained a low profile, temporarily shuttering her shops and weathering inquiries regarding her German associations without facing legal convictions. However, Coco resurfaced prominently at 70, met with a mix of acclaim and criticism within the fashion industry. Reconnecting with the Wertheimers, who had acquired a substantial stake in her empire in the 1920s and continued to oversee the Chanel brand, marking a turning point. The family chose to support Chanel financially, assuming responsibility for her expenses. By 1954, the Wertheimers had gained full control of the Chanel empire, aligning both parties' interests and ensuring Chanel's financial stability until her passing. In her later years, Coco Chanel predominantly secluded herself in her room at the Paris Hotel Ritz. While her youth was surrounded by admirers, her final days revealed a different reality. Despite her significant achievements, Coco Chanel's life was marred by indefensible stances and actions, aiding the Nazis during World War II. Her legacy isn't solely that of a collaborator, but rather that of a visionary fashion icon whose creations endure. What do you think? Comment down in the section below and don't forget to like and subscribe.